I'll find my way home on the western wind to a place that was once my world, back from where I've been. And in the morning light I'll remember as the sun will rise. We are all the glowing embers of a distant fire. We're gonna drift the light. We're gonna break the night, and we'll see with new eyes when we trip the light. Come on and trip the light. We're gonna break the night, and we'll see with new eyes. We're gonna trip the light. We're gonna break the night, and we'll see with new eyes when we trip the light. We're gonna trip the light. We're gonna break the night, and we'll see with new eyes. We're gonna trip the light. All the days that come to pass are behind these walls. I'll be left at the end of things in a world kept small. Travel far from what I know, and I'll be swept away. I need to know I can be lost, not afraid. We're gonna trip the light. We're gonna break the night, and we'll see with new eyes when we trip the light. Remember we're lost together. Remember we're the same. We hold the burning rhythm in our hearts. We hold the flame. We're gonna trip the light. We're gonna break the night, and we'll see with new eyes when we trip the light. We're gonna trip the light. We're gonna break the night, and we'll see with new eyes when we trip the light. was once my world, back from where I've been. And in the morning light I'll remember, as the sun will rise, we are all the glowing embers of a distant fire. We're gonna drift the light, we're gonna break the night, and we'll see with new eyes when we trip the light. Come on and trip the light, we're gonna break the night, and we'll see with new eyes. We're gonna trip the light, we're gonna break the night, and we'll see with new eyes when we trip the light. We're gonna trip the light.
Проба за микрофона. Проба за микрофона. Най-напред едно техническо съобщение, тъй като залата няма капацитет да поеме изключително заинтересованата и компетентна аудитория за тази днешна среща. Отвън сме осигурили 2 екрана и тези от вас, които предпочитат да бъдат отвънка, ще имат предимството да пият вода и вино. Така че ще бъдат много добре компенсирани. Тук, ако ви стане топло, също не се притеснявайте да се възползвате от тази възможност. Ваше Величество, госпожо вице-премиер, господин посланник, господин председател на Европейския съюз, ваши превъзходителства, депутати, министри, колеги, гости, членове, основатели на Атлантическия клуб. Има 2 случая, които съчетани ни събират днес. Единият е, че Атлантическия клуб навършва тази седмица 25 години. Единствената атлантическа организация работила на територията на Варшавския договор. Другият повод е, че имаме нов посланник на Съединените щати. И аз съм специално благодарен на президента Обама и на моя колега и добър приятел от едно време, държавния секретар Кери, че изпращат такъв специален посланник в България като подарък за 25 годишнината на Атлантическия клуб. Това е наистина един от най-добрите представители на американската дипломация. Наистина Атлантическия клуб беше създаден с изключителната подкрепа на Американското посолство в София, и то точно по време на смяната на 2 посланници, когато през август 1990 година шепа депутати от Великото народно събрание предложиха България да излезе от Варшавския договор, който да се разпусне и да влезем в НАТО. Тогава американската мисия в НАТО се заинтересова през българското посолство тук и организирахме една визита. Първата източноевропейска група пресякла влязла в щаба на НАТО и аз съм радостен, че представител на тази група сред нас е и професор Любомир Иванов, който беше и 8 години президент на Атлантическия клуб. Любо, специално ти благодаря. И така, с помощта на американската мисия, американското посолство и личната подкрепа на Манфред Вьорнер беше създаден Атлантическия клуб в България. Днес тук има някои от неговите основатели, голяма част от тях за радост са живи. Искам специално да ви благодаря. Искам да благодаря на хората от СДС, които за тях не беше толкова стряскащо основаването на Атлантическия клуб, но за нас беше много важно, че това беше една многопартийна организация и ние защото това беше изискването в НАТО, многопартийна организация, и ние получихме тогава в трудни за БСП времена подкрепа и от хора като професор Драгомир Драганов, Елена Поп-Тодорова, която е нашия посланник в Съединените щати, и Ирина Бокова, която сега е шеф на ЮНЕСКО. Специално съм длъжен да благодаря на първия борд на Атлантическия клуб, в който и неговия първи задграничен тогава член изигра ключова роля. Това е Негово Величество Симеон II. Ваше Величество, искрено ви благодаря. Няма да забравя как британския Атлантически клуб каза: "Абе, кои сте вие, бе? Какви сте вие, бе? Царя ми даде вашите документи." И така, с тяхната подкрепа вървим напред. Днеска, след 25 години, имаме и ново лого, което искам да покажем тук и да благодаря на професор Върджиев за това лого. Вече говорим за глобална електронна демокрация, но гледаме напред и с нови надежди, господин посланник. Искаме, след като влезахме в Европейския съюз и в НАТО с подкрепата на много визионерски правителства, вече гледаме за едно много по-добро въоръжение. Имаме българо-американски военни съоръжения, с които нашето правителство и страната ни се гордее. Но това, което виждаме, е, че превъоръжаването по време на студената война като че ли създаваше по-голямо спокойствие, отколкото разоръжаването след студената война. Така че очевидно имаме нужда от доста по-добро въоръжение и се надявам, че Съединените щати като един от лидерите, основните лидери в НАТО, ще дадат тон в това отношение. Искам за днешното събитие специално да благодаря на нашите спонсори, на Бика Андрей Бачваров, на Мегатрон Джон Дир и Ифтах Шахан, който влиза вече и в златните ни спонсори, Амчам Краси Чемишанска, силната ръка на американския бизнес, Амчам в България, адвокат Пенков, Риск инженеринг, Рефан, М3, TNT, Embassy Desk, Табиет, Пепси Кола. Благодаря ви на всички. Много сме задължени на нашите спонсори. Посланник Рубин е, както казах, забележителен посланник и ще кажа само няколко неща от неговата биография. Секретар в Бюрото по въпросите на Европа и Евразия, заместник посланник в Москва, бил е, забележете, стажант репортер в Нью Йорк Таймс, така че журналистите тук ще имат един наистина достоен събеседник. Бил е дипломат в Хондурас, политически съветник в Киев. Посланника на Украйна е тук. Много съжалявам за очертаващия се гласуване в Холандия по повод Украйна. Генерален консул в Чанг Май в Тайланд. Във Вашингтон е заемал различни длъжности в Център за операции към Държавния департамент, Служба по въпроси на Съветския съюз, регионални въпроси и въпроси на сигурността в Централна и Източна Европа, специален помощник на Държавния секретар за Европа и Канада, прес-секретар на Белия дом, Съвет за национална сигурност. Работил е с знаменития Томас Пикеринг между 1998 и 1999, Служба по политическо планиране, противодействие на наркотиците. Преди това е бил има бакалавърска степен по история от Йелския университет и говори, забележете, тайландски, испански, френски, украински и руски. И тъй като съм сигурен, че той сам най-добре ще се представи, моля за едно видео да видите и още един език, който посланника говори.
Здравейте, казвам се Ерик Рубин. Аз ще бъда новият посланик на САЩ в България. Съпругата ми и аз имаме 2 дъщери. Аз работя в Държавния департамент на САЩ повече от 30 години. Вземал съм различни дипломатически постове в Тайланд, в Украйна и в Русия. Тук в Вашингтон съм работил също така в Белия дом и в Джорджтаунския университет. През последните 4 години бях част от ръководния екип на Бюрото по европейски и евразийски въпроси на Държавния департамент. А през последните няколко месеца имах удоволствието да изучавам български език. За първи път посетих вашата страна преди 25 години, когато и в региона, и в цяла Европа се извършваха огромни промени. От тогава насам българите успяха да постигнат много от високите цели, които си бяха поставили. Зная обаче, че има още много стремежи, цели и намерения, които очакват своето решение. България днес е пълноправен член на европейското семейство и ценен съюзник и приятел на САЩ. В своята работа като посланик в България ще подкрепям всички действия на страната ви, насочени към постигане на икономически напредък и укрепване на демократичните институции и гражданското общество, както и на мира и стабилността в региона. Семейството ми и аз очакваме с нетърпение да се запознаем с много от вас. Чували сме за красотата на българската природа, за античните тракийски съкровища, за пречутите морски и планински курорти в България. Желанието ни е да посетим всички кътчета на страната, да опознаем по-близо българите и тяхната култура и традиции. До скорошна среща на българска земя.
Господин посланник, имате думата.
Thank you very much, Your Majesty, Madam Deputy Prime Minister, Excellencies, friends, members of the Atlantic Club, members of the press. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you for this very warm welcome. Бих искал да благодаря на правителството и народа на България за много топлото посрещане на мен и семейството ми. I'm very happy to be here at the Atlantic Club to give my first speech as U.S. Ambassador to Bulgaria and to continue in the tradition of U.S. ambassadors using this venue as their first opportunity to speak publicly. And I'd like to pay a special note of thanks to Salman and Gergana Pasi for their role, their contributions to Bulgaria, to our alliance, to our bilateral relationship. They are too numerous to mention, but also too historic to fail to recognize. To the entire Atlantic Club leadership team, this week marks the 25th anniversary of the Atlantic Club and the 67th anniversary of NATO's founding. You have been a beacon shining the way for all of us in this past quarter century. I cannot fail to acknowledge His Majesty and his role in achieving the dream, the goal of Bulgaria integrated with Europe, a full member of the Atlantic Alliance, a historic role that we are all deeply grateful for and I think worthy of special mention. I know this is a time of challenges and crises. We need to face them together as allies, as friends, as partners, and as members of societies that share a set of values: peace, freedom, democracy, and prosperity. And as people who share the original vision with which we ended the lengthy and awful Cold War, one Europe, whole, free, and at peace. These are not easy times for anyone in the region, and certainly not for Bulgarians. So let me say from the outset that America stands with you and will support the choices you have made for Europe, for the Transatlantic Alliance, and for a free and more hopeful future for you, your children, and your grandchildren. And let me add that America's commitment to the European project is fundamental. From the first days after the horrors of the Second World War, we stood with Jean Monnet, Robert Schuman, Konrad Adenauer, Alcide de Gasperi, Paul Henri Spaak, and so many others to support the vision of a united, peaceful, and prosperous continent, one linked to North America by bonds of friendship, shared values, and solemn defense commitments. We stand by that vision now, and we will do everything we can to help Bulgaria pursue its future as a full member already of the Union and as an indispensable part of the North Atlantic Alliance. Very briefly answer some of our critics. Let me add that we are here as your friends. We care deeply about your security and your prosperity, and we are not going away or losing our commitment. In that regard, let me say that I'm very optimistic about Bulgaria's future. As your great poet Христо Ботев once said, "Българският народ не е в гроба на своето минало, а в люлката на своето бъдеще." I had the opportunity to spend some time in Bulgaria shortly after the transition to democracy in the early 1990s, and I can see the progress that has been made, incredible progress politically, economically, and socially. In fact, I remember when it would have been almost inconceivable to talk about Bulgaria as a full member of NATO and the European Union, about Bulgarians being free to travel, work, and study anywhere in Europe, about the enormous improvements to the quality of the infrastructure and the quality of life, and about the broadened and deepened U.S.-Bulgarian relationship from the American University in Blagoevgrad to the thousands of Bulgarian young people who travel to the United States to work, travel, and meet new friends. Please let me add that we are deeply committed to supporting the government of Bulgaria and its leadership in confronting the difficult challenges of the moment and setting Bulgaria on a course toward a safe and prosperous future. President Plevneliev, Prime Minister Borisov, and the entire Council of Ministers have before them a daunting list of objectives. I will do everything I can in my time here to help them succeed. Our gathering here takes on increased meaning in the wake of the horrific, horrible terrorist attacks in Brussels. Our thoughts are with the people of Brussels and the people of Belgium, as well as the families of the victims of so many other nations. When madmen can kill at will in public, our first thought is, of course, to withdraw, to hug our own loved ones, to retreat behind the walls of our homes, and fight for civilization only in our immediate environment. In every generation, it now feels our common humanity has been tested by those who seek to impose their will through fear, violence, and the eradication of free choice, by those who resort to violence because they can't succeed in open and tolerant democratic societies. If our own hard-fought transatlantic unity is to mean anything, if we are to live up to the words of the North Atlantic Treaty, the Treaty of Rome, and the United Nations Charter, let the terror in Brussels call us once again to unite in defense of our security, our freedom, and our democratic values. As a number of world leaders have said, we can neither hide from today's threats nor face them alone. Bulgaria does not have to hide. In fact, none of us can hide. We have to confront the challenges and defeat the threats before us. Bulgaria, as you are all well aware, better than I, is affected by multiple crises confronting Europe overall. Russian annexation of Crimea, the continuing non-fulfillment of the obligations of the Minsk Accord, and continuing military aggression and fomenting of instability in Ukraine is one. Another is the awful Syrian conflict and the closely related migration crisis that has affected every country in the region and indeed all of Europe. Finally, the threat of foreign fighters and the continuing evidence of spillover from the conflict that challenges the security of every country in the world. Many countries in Europe are confronting the consequences of at least one of these challenges, maybe two, but Bulgaria faces all three. It's precisely in times like these that our unity is most vital and our democratic values are our best guide. America's approach to protecting our values and to advancing a Europe that is whole, free, and at peace will remain constant as they have for 70 years as we work to build communities of common action to add to our traditional alliances whenever we can. In other words, let me emphasize that in these uncertain times, Bulgaria has the best of friends. The United States views Bulgaria as a key partner and ally in facing common challenges, whether they come from the East or the South, from migration or terrorism or any of the other host of issues that confront the nations of the modern world. From the first American missionaries who came from Robert College to establish the American College in Samokov in the days before Bulgarian independence, to the Peace Corps volunteers who came in the 1990s and early 2000s to help Bulgarians get back on their feet after 45 years of communism, this has been about Americans and Bulgarians working together as friends, partners, and now allies. We must continue that work. One of the things that struck me after my arrival here was how oftenly I find myself in conversations about Secretary Kerry's visit in January 2015. As you're aware, he and Prime Minister Borisov jointly reaffirmed the strategic partnership that exists between our countries, and they also announced the formation of several bilateral working groups. Why is that important? I think it is because these groups have created a platform to address the challenges I've already named and more. Let me look at each one briefly in turn. On defense and security, we've done a lot in a very short time. As a NATO ally, the United States is supporting the countries on the alliance's eastern edge that worry about threats to security in the region. Our persistent military presence in Bulgaria, Poland, Romania, and the Baltic states sends a powerful message of deterrence. In fact, through our European Reassurance Initiative and Operation Atlantic Resolve, our bilateral military activity over the past years has increased more than 400%. Our troops stand shoulder to shoulder with their Bulgarian counterparts ever more frequently. But much more remains to be done, and we are working across many dimensions to realize the kind of transformation Bulgarians desire. For example, we have broadened our security cooperation in multiple areas to allow for the activities and training that lead to joint capacity and interoperability. These activities have included multi-country exercises on the land, in the air, and at sea. In the sphere of building leadership and command capacity, the United States provides $7 million per year in military equipment and educational military exchanges. Regarding infrastructure, the US and Bulgaria now have 4 joint facilities. These are sovereign Bulgarian facilities which are being used to co-locate troops and stage joint training and exercises. Our Department of Defense is helping with significant infrastructure improvements to 2 of the facilities in ways that will benefit Bulgaria's armed forces for years to come. On the Economy and Energy Diversification Working Group, I think we can say that it's entwined with defense and security in many ways. That is why, for example, we consider it a security issue, not just an economic issue, that we conclude negotiations with the European Union and its member states on the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, TTIP. Not only will TTIP bring jobs and growth on both sides of the Atlantic, it will strengthen our open, free market economies and our leadership position in setting the global standard in environmental protection, in labor protection, in protection of consumers and workers, and in trade agreements. I'll note that the American Chamber of Commerce recently celebrated its 20th anniversary here, and I want to salute AmCham and its membership for its contributions to building the US-Bulgarian partnership and to creating jobs and mutually beneficial trade. This deserves our applause and gratitude. In fact, the economic situation in Bulgaria is quite dynamic, and there is much to point to as indicators of progress. Bulgaria's GDP growth last year was significantly higher than the EU average. Foreign direct investment was 23% in 2015, and at 1.6 billion euros was the highest since 2009, and unemployment has continued to go down. Major American companies have decided to make significant investments here. AES, for example, built the largest, most environmentally friendly state-of-the-art power plant in Bulgaria, a plant that employs hundreds of local residents. And tomorrow I will visit a new US investment in Bulgaria, a plant that is a world leader in manufacturing sensors for automobiles. In other words, American companies see opportunity in investing in Bulgaria, and they are here to stay. And it's not just change in the macroeconomy, there's significant positive developments in the energy sector as well. When Secretary Kerry and Prime Minister Borisov jointly announced the strategic dialogue, Secretary Kerry promised Bulgaria assistance in the energy sector, particularly to bolster energy diversification and therefore energy security. We've been true to our word. Through multiple visits by our Special Envoy for Energy Affairs, both here and in the region, we have helped Bulgaria work with Greece to move toward the realization of the interconnector Greece-Bulgaria IGB. In particular, I'd like to congratulate the government on signing a final investment decision on the IGB in December. This is a significant step forward in realizing this vision. And what exactly would this project mean for Bulgaria? Because as some say, it's not the biggest energy project in the region, but I think it's not the size that counts, but the impact. And this is where I think there's a lot of evidence already that it would be of great strategic importance for Bulgaria. As many of you know, energy markets are changing, and that includes here in Southeast Europe. Much of this has been spurred by supplies of gas being brought onto the market from the United States through the so-called unconventional gas revolution. While the United States had anticipated being a net importer of gas, we are now starting to export domestically produced gas, and in fact, the first cargo was shipped just a few weeks ago. To take advantage of these changes, some countries have built or are considering building liquefied natural gas terminals, which create a diversification alternative to pipelines that simply did not exist just a few years ago. Lithuania is one of the European Union members that has done so and has already seen a significant benefit to its consumers in terms of price. By building the IGB, Bulgaria would also increase its access to alternative supplies of gas from Azerbaijan for a start and reap similar benefits, we believe. Moreover, it could be the first step in building and connecting infrastructure throughout the region that could change energy markets for here to come to the benefit of Bulgarian consumers and consumers throughout the region. That's why we're working together through our energy working group with Bulgarians to try to make progress on all of these issues. Let me say something about our rule of law working group. One of the things that is interesting about the strategic dialogue announcement, if you read it carefully, is that Secretary Kerry and Prime Minister Borisov made their most specific and precise commitments under this rubric. Specifically, they mentioned Bulgaria's work through the Open Government Partnership, or OGP. OGP is not especially well known, but its aim is easy to understand. It's focused on helping governments to create transparency and accountability. We can ask ourselves how this fits in with helping Bulgaria address the challenges it faces today in security or building its economy. From our perspective, continued democratic and economic development, the transformation that began with the changes in 1989, but which is by no means yet completed, are the long-term arc of Bulgaria's storyline in the 21st century. These kinds of rule of law improvements are fundamental to continued democratic and economic growth. And that in turn is fundamental to increased political stability, increased business, increased trade, and a higher quality of life for all. One of the areas we're most proud of is our Education and People-to-People working group. This working group coordinates a wide range of programs and initiatives to further develop Bulgaria's professionals and to provide youth with the skills that they will need to build Bulgaria's future. Every country's future depends on its ability to collaborate with external and international partners. The issues that we face today are regional and global, and no single country can solve them alone. Countries that have developed this expertise have a distinct advantage as they're more able to respond not only to threats and problems, but also to opportunities. In that regard, we are very, very proud that we have committed to working closely with the Bulgarian people through our exchange programs, and this commitment amounts to more than simply words. Every year, the United States facilitates and funds thousands of exchanges between the United States and Bulgaria among researchers, artists, students, politicians, musicians, educators, journalists, and community organizers at a cost of millions of dollars annually. Our embassy provides professional exchange opportunities to professionals, activists, journalists, educators, members of the government, and others to observe America's experience in dozens of different areas, including teaching, governance, civic engagement, agriculture, entrepreneurship, and innovation, to name just a few. Many of you have heard of Bulgaria's Fulbright Commission, which brings American scholars and professionals to Bulgaria and Bulgarian scholars and professionals to the United States to allow them to share perspectives and experience. Through assistance from the US government and the America for Bulgaria Foundation, over 1,100 Bulgarians and Americans have participated in our Fulbright program, advancing graduate and postgraduate level collaboration and research in science, technology, language, math, business journalism, and cultural arts. The Fulbright program also funds an annual cadre of 30 native-speaking English language teachers in high schools throughout Bulgaria. The America for Bulgaria Foundation, although not part of the United States government, is our partner and is doing a great deal to develop Bulgaria's human capital and strengthen people-to-people ties between our countries. Their programs train educational professionals, including teachers and principals, to help them develop their full potential as leaders at school and in the classroom. By creating opportunities for closer interaction between universities and high schools, ABF stimulates Bulgaria's intellectual potential by investing in the next generation of Bulgaria's leaders. ABF is also improving education in Bulgaria by modernizing classroom settings and introducing new classroom technologies such as language and science labs. Other programs target educational inequalities among schools and students by working with not only the top programs, but also with some of Bulgaria's struggling institutions. We will soon issue the 100,000th visa for the popular summer work and travel program. Many of you know young university students who spent a summer in the United States on this program, gaining work experience, practicing their English, and learning more about American society. Students are often motivated to participate by the financial incentive, but they return to Bulgaria richer than they anticipated, with new skills, new friends, and a global perspective. To ensure that participants benefit for a lifetime, we launched in 2015 a Summer Work and Travel Alumni Association, which provides networking opportunities and helps support the alumni in their endeavors and in their communities here in Bulgaria. Our Education and Cultural Working Group is also responsible for cooperation in the cultural sphere, including supporting a range of performances, exhibitions, and festivals throughout the country. We are dedicated to continuing our longstanding contributions to Bulgaria's unique and diverse cultural heritage. Under the Ambassador's Fund for Cultural Preservation that I oversee, the Embassy is implementing almost $700,000 project to preserve the 14th century St. John Eliturgitos Church in Nesebar. Other cultural preservation projects include the conservation of 2 4th century Christian tombs in central Sofia, the preservation of the 4th century BC Thracian tomb of Kron II in the Valley of the Thracian Kings, the restoration of the 17th century Kurshum Mosque in Silistra, the preservation of 3rd century mosaic floors in the ancient provincial capital of Philippopolis, modern-day Plovdiv, and the preservation of the early 19th century library and mosque of Osman Pazvantoglu in Vidin. It's easy to see how these activities strengthen our bilateral relationship, but how do they help us in addressing the problems we face? Through these programs and initiatives, people learn to solve problems across cultures. Without those skills, we cannot hope to address the regional issues such as the migrant crisis or global issues such as terrorism or global climate change. I'd like to mention the newest of our working groups and the last one, which is counterterrorism. We created this last year because of the obvious complexity and challenges of the situation we are all facing in the world today. It's a legacy to the excellent cooperation that the United States and Bulgaria had after the tragic Sarajevo bombing in 2012. And the capacity and the lessons that we have built have created stronger capabilities for both of our countries to address this terrible challenge that everyone is facing. And we're continuing to work together to help train investigators and prosecutors, to help Bulgaria work on strengthening its legal code for dealing with terrorism and foreign fighters. And the goal, of course, is to keep our citizens on both sides of the Atlantic safe and secure. I talked earlier about the international challenges that Bulgaria is facing, but I want to emphasize these are shared challenges. They're joint challenges, and we have to work together to face them. And thus, we have created this platform of the working groups to further advance the key goals that we have together with Bulgaria in supporting Bulgaria, which is to further advance Bulgaria's complete integration into the European Union in all the areas that it's working on, to complete the modernization of Bulgaria's NATO interoperable and capable military and continue an ambitious schedule of training and engagement, to encourage energy diversification that can make Bulgaria more independent and also more prosperous, to bolster transparency to enable democratic and economic development and lay the foundation for stability, and to create institutions and to train people to deal with transnational terrorist threats. So that's what we've been doing. The question now, I think, is where we're going in the US-Bulgarian relationship. And that's at a time, as I mentioned, when the world is getting more complex, not less. In such a situation, I think it helps to simplify. So let me put it this way. We see the US-Bulgaria partnership as an anchor in a sea of instability. And whether we're talking about strengthening NATO, improving global security, defeating terror, or strengthening our prosperity for our citizens, the United States, Canada, and Europe need each other more than ever. We, the transatlantic community, are strongest, safest, and most prosperous when we stand together against today's evils and challenges, and when we live our values at home and support them globally. Bulgaria is our friend, ally, and partner in this endeavor, and at the end of the day, this is about how we want our children and grandchildren to live and what kind of world we want them to inherit. The foundations are in place for a great, bright future, but there are so many challenges along the way that are facing us. What I can tell you is that in my time here in Bulgaria, I will do everything within my power to be a good friend, to leverage all the resources I can to help Bulgaria as it meets these multiple challenges, and to speak to the vision that we share, a vision of freedom, prosperity, and security. Thank you to so many people in this audience who are also working toward these goals. I hope to be a friend and a useful partner to you as we pursue solutions and progress together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ambassador, and thank you very much for keeping alive the tradition that which is 20 years now, more than 20 years old. Every new U.S. ambassador coming to this country to start his big speech here at the Forum of the Atlantic Club. Thank you so much. Днешната среща се предава по лайв на живо, по Перископ, мобилната апликация Перископ, много я обичам аз, Google Plus стриминг, така че всичко това, което тук се говори в момента, на живо се предава по света. Искам, докато седях в залата, забелязах, че тук са и още двама от основателите от Великото народно събрание. Видях тук Петър Берон и Стефан Стоянов, които са, така да се каже, от първопроходците на демокрацията в България. Пропуснах от спонсорите да спомена Траянка Делта Форс, която охранява сигурно всичко, което може да се охранява. Препоръчвам ви за охранителна фирма. И видях в залата бъдещия български посланник в Съединените щати, Тихомир Стойчев. Много се радвам, искам да му пожелая от сърце успех, господин посланник. Не само визите, но и много други големи неща да направите, защото визите с дреболия за вашите възможности. Има два въпроса в момента, които са за по $1 милион. Единият въпрос е кой ще бъде бъдещия президент на Съединените щати. И господин посланник, аз няма да ви задам този въпрос, ще ви пощадя. Но има и втори въпрос, който също е не по-малко интересен. Той е кой ще бъде бъдещия генерален секретар на ООН, и ние много се интересуваме дали американското правителство има мнение по този въпрос за сега. Също така много се надявам по време на вашия мандат да се сбъдне една нова мечта на Атлантическия клуб. Тя не е съвсем нова, защото вече 20 на години си мечтаем за това, да изпратим трети български космонавт с НАСА. Тук ли е лейтенант Николай Калайджиев? Тук ли е? Ето вижте. Това момче ми се обади и каза: аз искам да сбъдна мечтата на Атлантическия клуб, аз искам да бъда следващия български космонавт, искам обаче да летя с НАСА, заради което ние трябва да влезем в Европейската космическа агенция, за което много се надявам вице-премиера Кунева да помогне, тя е базирана в Париж, и през Париж в НАСА и космоса. Това е нашата мечта. Имаме и други големи българо-американски проекти, те са в частния сектор. Например, това, че България ще бъде първата източноевропейска държава, която ще изстреля свой спътник. Това е спътника на Bullsat.com, който ще бъде изстрелян от Елън Мъск в SpaceX, но това е изключителна гордост за страната и това е един огромен българо-американски частен проект. Много се надявам и в междудържавните отношения да има такива гигантски проекти. Един въпрос също, който много ни интересува, е как виждате възможността да бъде изградена военноморска база на НАТО в Черно море, Бургас, Варна, с подкрепата, разбира се, на нашите турски съседи и съюзници, с подкрепата на Румъния, на България, на Съединените щати, с пълно уважение към договора от Монтреал, но все пак една солидна база, която да стабилизира положението в региона. И още един въпрос, който, понеже в Атлантическия клуб хората мислят напредничаво, и вие сте правилният човек, към когото трябва да го поставим. Как виждате възможността Куба да бъде поканена за член на НАТО? Не е толкова смешно. Не е толкова смешно. Помислете малко и ще видите, че ние имаме нужда от трети стълб в Северна Америка. Още повече, че договорът предполага до тропика на Рака да се защитава. Куба попада географски много удобно в тази зона. Сега имаме микрофон, който ще се вдигнете ръце, моля, който иска да зададе въпрос. Професор Стоян Денчев, заповядайте. Една ръка в ляво, мое най-далечно ляво, не мога го тук да идентифицирам. Ето, виждам ръката. Професоре, заповядайте. Ректор на Унибит.
Уважаеми господин Паси, честито първо 25 годишна на вас, на Любо Иванов и на всички основатели на Атлантическия клуб. В своето обращение негово превъзходителство каза, че България е ценен съюзник и приятел на Съединените щати. Това наистина е вярно. Потвърди се още нещо, което аз предварително знаех за него, че той отличава се с стил и прагматична словесност. Аз, за разлика от вас, няма да благодаря на определени лица за факта, че изпращат топ дипломати в България, с малки изключения. Но в края на краищата бих искал да задам един въпрос. Без да цитирам основателя на Статворд или пък някои други такива публични организации, искам да попитам: обезпокоен съм от изявите на един от основните кандидати за президентския пост в Съединените щати, господин Доналд Тръмп, който казва, че НАТО е отживелица. Как вие, и като представител на правителството на президента Обама, бихте споделили това виждане на кандидата Тръмп? И още нещо, искам да отправя една публична покана към вас, да посетите моя университет, да говорим за младите хора в Съединените щати и България. Благодаря ви.
Благодаря на професор Денчев. Друг въпрос. Моля да се съсредоточите само върху въпроса, без да правите изявления. Заповядайте. Тъй като в края посланника има график, в края на неговата презентация ще валидираме пощенски плик за 25 годишнината на Атлантическия клуб, за което специално ще дойде заместник министъра на транспорта и съобщенията. Заповядайте.
Кратък на български въпрос. Или на английски да задавам въпроса?
Важно е да е кратък.
Окей, да. Ваше превъзходителство, бих искал, зададох ви писмено въпроса на английски, той е пред вас. Сега ще го дам на български, по-скоро втората част от въпроса ми, който е написан пред вас. Не е ли време, ваше превъзходителство, и използвам вашето идване в България за първи път, да започне един план Маршал за България и за страните в реконструкция от Източна Европа. Независимо, че ние сме членове на НАТО и на Европейския съюз. Аз дори съм дал във връзка с панамските досиета и другите скандали. Това са явни фондове на бившите комунисти, които биха могли да бъдат използвани, конфискувани от американското.
Благодаря ви. Благодаря ви. Следващия въпрос. Заповядайте. Млад човек, дясно от мене в края на реда.
Добър ден, Стоян Тричков, Радио К2. Господин посланник, Ваше превъзходителство, имам два въпроса към вас. Първият от тях е: къде според вас се намира България на голямата шахматна дъска? Като една малка страна, която е партньор на САЩ като член на НАТО, член на Европейския съюз и в същото време исторически и културно приятел на Русия. И втория ми въпрос към вас е: преди 2 години премиера Бойко Борисов се срещна с Американската търговска камара и там пред бизнеса на Америка каза, че американският бизнес е добре дошъл в България, но стига да спазва законите в страната. И в същото време на въпрос от Иляна Беновска, Бойко Борисов във връзка с партньорството на Америка и България заяви, че за танца са нужни двама, но равностойни. Според вас, двойка ли са България и САЩ? Равностойна ли е тази двойка и в какво е двойка? Благодаря.
И какво, малка ли ви е Съединените щати?
Метафорично.
Добре, следващ въпрос. Не виждам вдигната ръка, затова ще преминем към... Има една вдигната ръка в края, заповядайте.
Ваше превъзходителство, Емилия Милчева, Юрепорт БГ. Въпросът ми е следния. Вероятно знаете за проблемите на така наречените американски централи в България. Бихте ли се ангажирали с съдействие за разрешаване на този спор, който тече от доста дълго време и е свързан с една доста голяма дължима сума, тъй като Българската национална енергийна компания дължи 1,2 милиарда лева на така наречените 2 американски централи в енергийния комплекс. И вторият ми много бърз въпрос. Наскоро, просто преди дни, Международната агенция Галъп публикува едно изследване, според което 14% от българите смятат, че Съединените американски щати са враг. Това как бихте го определили? Може би не е политически коректен въпроса, но все пак това като резултат на хибридна война ли или оставам на вас. Благодаря.
Благодаря. Само да ви кажа, че шефа на ЕИС Оливие Маркет е тук, така че директно с него може да поговорите по въпроса за станциите и за тока. Не виждам... заповядайте. Този млад човек е един от най-активните в Twitter. Поздравления!
Здравейте, Ваше превъзходителство. Светослав Трайков се казвам. Искам да ви попитам, каква е вашата оценка за работата на Ирина Бокова като председател на ЮНЕСКО?
Така. Това е двустранен въпрос, това е многостранен, но не виждам повече дигнати ръце и предоставям думата на господин посланника.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this really interesting and daunting set of questions, but I'll do my best to address them as well as I can. And I'll start with Solomon's questions, if I might, just to say that I absolutely love the idea of having a Bulgarian in space again, and I will do everything I can to try to help promote that. It will be, I think, first and foremost a question for the European Space Agency, though, and that's beyond our competence, but I hope we can see this vision achieved. It would be really wonderful. On Solomon's question on military bases, I think we should both be very proud, Bulgarians and Americans, of the tremendous progress that we've made in achieving a very active presence here of NATO forces, including American forces, and a very active presence of Bulgarian forces operating with NATO overseas. And I think the most important point is we are rapidly increasing our military-to-military engagement. Bulgaria's interoperability and integration with NATO forces is rapidly increasing, and the pace with which we train and exercise is something I think that is really a success story. And I've been deeply impressed with the Bulgarian officers that I have met in the past several months here, their intelligence capability, training, dedication to their country. So I think this is a very positive success story. I think it would be beyond my ability to go beyond that and talk about specific facilities, but I can say I think we have a vision that President Obama has laid out, including increased funding for NATO and for our efforts with the states along the periphery of NATO's borders, and we're going to continue that, and I'm optimistic that this will continue to be an area of success. On the question of the visa waiver program, what I can say is that we share the goal and we share the vision, and I am very, very confident that it will be achieved, but there's much work to be done. Our Congress has established very specific criteria, and I will tell you candidly that there is much work to be done before those criteria are met. So I would say this is something that we have to keep working on together. We fully understand the desire, we fully endorse it and want to see it achieved. There's several other countries in the region also working toward this. So we will work with you to try to move to that day, which I know we all want to see. The idea of Cuba in NATO, that took me a little by surprise, but these are changing times. What I can say is the alliance has a vision that it is open to all countries that wish to apply to join, but there are very clear criteria. And as President Obama said very clearly multiple times in his very historic visit to Cuba, that Cuba still has a very long way to go before we could even think of calling it a democracy. And that is a fundamental element of NATO. In order to even apply for membership, a country has to have a fully democratic system of government. Cuba does not have that yet, but we share the vision, as President Obama said when he was there, of seeing that accomplished someday soon. So let's revisit that question. On the question of our elections, I was just back in Washington a few weeks ago and had the opportunity to watch a lot of television. So I understand the question, and let me just say this is our democracy in action. The American people ultimately have the final say, and I believe they will do the right thing, whatever that is, whatever they decide that that is. But I think it's important to also point to the remarks that President Obama made about this, saying very, very clearly that our commitment to NATO as a government, as a country, as a people, is unshakable, is unchanged. And in this dangerous world, it's more important than ever. So that's where we stand. That's our opinion. On the question of a new Marshall Plan, I think these are different times than the end of World War II. I don't think the same solutions are appropriate. But I will say I do feel that together we've accomplished so much in the past 25 years, and we're still doing so much together. And it's hard to get that historical perspective. And of course, citizens are impatient. It's never enough. I know the politicians in this audience understand that better than anyone, that it's never enough and that people always want more. But I think we're doing a lot, and as I said, we're working to see if we can do more. We understand the criticality of prosperity, of more good jobs at good wages to increase the standard of living. That's crucial in any democracy for stability and to have social cohesion. So that's something I think we want to work to. And just to mention one comment that was made in that question about blocks, about an Eastern bloc, we don't accept blocks. There are no blocks anymore. There's one Europe. There's one European Union, there is one NATO, one transatlantic community, and it is essential not to draw new lines. New lines in Europe is the opposite of what we've been trying to do all this time. And so I urge everyone to join with us and with your government, which I know feels very strongly about that, in saying we're not drawing new lines. This is Europe, this is the transatlantic community, we are together. And we're not going to talk about that or chessboards or anything like that. There is, just like there are no blocks, there is no chessboard. This is not a game. This is very serious. This is life. And this is people's lives, and we have to take it seriously as such. And I think the goal that we have, and we've been very clear about this, and we share this with the Bulgarian government as well, good relations with everyone, prosperous trade and investment in all directions, peace, stability, not dividing the world, not dividing Europe, not dividing the region. So this doesn't have to be about anybody against anybody. This should be a mutually beneficial vision, an open vision, a shared vision, and that's how we see it. I think on the question of the power station, as I mentioned in my remarks, we believe that the AES complex is truly a world-leading investment with the highest environmental technology of any such station in the world. We do know that there has been difficulty over the question of the arrears. We're working very, very closely with our Bulgarian counterparts in the Bulgarian government and with the companies. And all I will say is this is a negotiation, but we are very hopeful for a positive resolution soon. On the question of the 14% poll, you've all seen that. I think that's backwards. I would call that the 86% poll. So 86% of Bulgarians do not see us as an enemy. To me, that's a great outcome. I'm very happy with that. That's a great number. And I hope it will continue to go down. I believe it will. I'm quite sure it will. So, again, let's not, asking people who's your enemy is not a very useful project either. I think we should also work to avoid that concept that we have enemies and friends. This should be one community and people trying to unite rather than divide. Finally, on the question of Madam Bokova, what I will say on this is that there are now a long list of very strong candidates who have submitted themselves for consideration to the General Assembly. We look forward to looking at this very impressive list and spending time with the candidates as all other members of the General Assembly will. And in due time, we will make some decisions, as every country will, in terms of our priorities and preferences. It's way too early to discuss that now. And this is a matter not for me bilaterally, but this is a matter for the United Nations, the General Assembly. So we'll be very glad to hear from all the candidates. And as I said, I want to emphasize that all of them, every single one of them, is very impressive, very accomplished. This is going to be a serious decision for the international community to make.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. I was particularly encouraged by what you said about the Black Sea naval bases, that your presence will be rapidly increasing and that President Obama has vision.
So let me just make sure I'm clear, though. I'm not offering a naval base here.
Okay, well, we started the discussion about the bilateral American-Bulgarian facilities that we have today in 1999 here at the Atlantic Club, and I was happy that 7 years later they were fact. I don't know when the naval bases will be fact, but I'm happy to see that we're going in that direction. And vis-a-vis Cuba, I want to remind that Bulgaria has used to have very strong relations with Cuba, and we can help Cuba getting democratized in order to join NATO in the way in which we did this. You can pass the message, please. Междувременно към нас се присъединиха заместник министър Валери Борисов и шефа на почтите господин Дънешки. Искам най-напред да благодаря още един път на Краси Чимишанска, в нейно лице на Амчам, на Пенков, адвокатска кантора Василена, която беше стажант в Атлантическия клуб, на Траянка Делта Форс, на Андрей Бачваров Бика, на Ифтах Шахан, на Джон Диер Мегатрон, той продава много хубави трактори, знаете, на Рефан, на Риск Инженеринг, М3, TNT и Табиет и Пепсико, и на Embassy Desk, което също е фирма на една наша стажантка. Ние се гордеем много с нашите стажанти, така че пращайте студентите си да идват при нас на стаж. Господин заместник министър, господин директор на почтите, заповядайте. И аз, тъй като ще правим валидиране, няма как то да стане без ударене на печат. Разбира се. Заповядайте, господин министър.
Благодаря ви, господин Паси. Много съм благодарен на Атлантическия клуб, че ми оказаха тази чест днес заедно да валидираме това пощенско филателно издание, посветено на 25-та годишнина на клуба. Спомняте ли си преди 25 години в какви турбулентни, емоционални и динамични времена живеехме? Аз гледах господин Паси по телевизията, бях 25 години по-млад, той беше млад депутат в българския парламент, излезе на трибуната на парламент и каза: България трябва да отиде в НАТО. Аз ви казвам, аз бях шокиран. Защо? Защото като всички хора на моята възраст бяхме минали през системата, наречена Димитровски комунистически младежки съюз, и имахме формиран определен мироглед. Но след това, като се замислих, реших, че може би тази щура идея, тази щура идея не е толкова щура и си струва човек да работи за нея. 25 години по-късно не само сме страна членка на Европейския съюз, но и член на НАТО. Между другото, искам да споделя с вас една статистика, от която лично аз бях учуден. Темата за НАТО и Атлантическия клуб е може би най-широко експлоатираната тема в пощенско-филателните издания за последните 25 години. 10 издания. Днешното е 10-то издание на някакъв пощенско-филателен продукт, посветен на 10-та годишнина на Атлантическия клуб, на 20-та годишнина на Атлантическия клуб. И още едно нещо, което смятам, че е интересно за вас. Български пощи и българската филателия са в НАТО преди България да влезе в НАТО. Какво имам предвид? През 1999 година, за която стана дума преди малко, Български пощи и филателията издават първото филателно издание, посветено на Североатлантическия пакт. Така че, колеги от пощите, поздравления и за вас. Приключвам. Художник на днешното издание е една млада госпожа. Тираж е 1122 бройки. Този малък брой за мен означава само едно. Има достатъчно и може би недостатъчно за българските колекционери. Но чрез пощенско-филателните издания, като това, което ни е събрало днес, посланията на Атлантическия клуб и на НАТО достигат до всички точки на земното кълбо. Поздравление, господин Паси, по случай годишнината.
Да добавя, че имаме и 2 монети в БНБ. Искам да поканя професор Любо Иванов да се присъедини към нас. Любо, заповядай. Докато сме живи, да сме заедно. После отвънка се продават тия пликове. Няма комисионна за Атлантическия клуб, просто е от сърце. Айде. Това се казва сговорна дружина планина повдига.
И още една традиция, свързана с пощенско-филателните издания. Първото валидирано копие се подарява на домакина, в случая на господин Паси. Заповядайте.
Много благодаря. Много благодаря. С ваше позволение, този подарък аз ще го прехвърля веднага на един човек, под чието ръководство смятам, че се включих в един невероятен екип, на Негово Величество Симеон Сакско-Бургоцки, който е и един от най-старите филателисти в България. Ами сега отвънка чака виното, водата. Заповядайте.
great. No, really great. Thank you so much.